Good afternoon, guys. It's Workin bringing you a quick update on Bitcoin. Hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. We're looking at Bitcoin at the US dollar. This is the 4-hour chart on Bitfinex, guys. And, Bitcoin, if I go swing high, swing low, guys, as I've showed you guys the last 3 times, I'm going to go ahead and start off again for anybody that's new. We can see that the 50 fib level coincides perfectly with this 6750 resistance line, a resistance area that's been in place for quite some time. As I showed you guys in the past here, that zone's, just clearly a very strong resistance, as I told you guys before it even hit there that it would be. And sure enough, we've been sitting here consolidating on here for a couple days now. Now we've broken above here by just a wick, but we keep getting rejected strongly. If you look at margin exchanges like Bitfinex or BitMEX, we had this long wick that got rejected here. This did not show up on Coinbase or on Binance or any non-margin exchange, but it did show up here, guys, on Bitfinex, and we found support. And if I look at this ascending resistance line here, well, actually this I'll just call it an ascending line here. It did act as support back here, acted as resistance here, and now it came down and perfectly hit right off that zone, acting as support once more, which I find very interesting. So as long as price stays above this resistance line here, I'm going to remain cautiously optimistic that price could continue to the upside here, but we do have to get above 6750 very, very soon. If we don't, I think that the fact that the bulls have been able to hold price up as long as they have without it collapsing, without breaking above 6750, is, in my opinion, is just very, very, it's very interesting, and it's very bullish that they could do that, but I don't think it's going to last long. We're either going to break above 6750 or price is going to collapse. If and when it does collapse, I'm expecting it to find support either at this ascending resistance line, no lower than 6540. If it does break 6540, guys, I think it'll be a very quick drop to 6280. To the upside, if we do break above 6750, as I told you guys many times in the past, hitting 6950, this is the zone that we have to break above. And again, guys, I told you guys countless times in the past, this is the 618 fib to the 65 fib level, aka the golden pocket. Why is that relevant? Well, again, for the new viewers that haven't heard this before, the last 3 times that we've retraced right to that golden pocket. I mean, perfectly. Here, here, and here. Perfect hit right off the golden pocket. Prior to that, we retraced to the 50. At no time in 2018 have we retraced above the golden pocket, above this golden pocket zone. So if we do that, that would be the first time since 2018 that would break a very bearish trend and could, I want to emphasize could, not will, but could signify the start of a longer bull run. But we're nowhere near there yet. In fact, if I come over here, guys, and I check out I check out volume. Volume today is still sitting at 4.2 billion, which is very weak. We can see that we had a nice spike on Friday. It jumped from the average of 3 to 4 billion up to about 6.5 billion, which is very bullish. We're getting very hopeful. And then it dropped off yesterday, and today it's dropping off even more. So we're back down to that lower volume. In fact, if we come out here, look at the bigger picture, guys, what do you see? Clearly, price is getting squeezed tighter and tighter. Every time we get this correction, it's smaller and smaller and smaller, very similar to the one before, just on a much smaller scale. And we're seeing that now, and it seems to be happening at a little more frequent rate these last 3 times. It came up, down, a little bit smaller, up, down, and now what are we going to get? Is it going to top out here? Are we going to come up and hit this ascending resistance line, or is it just going to collapse right here? We'll have to wait and see how this plays out, guys, but there's no question that it's getting squeezed tighter and tighter and tighter. There's also no question that there is support somewhere between 6,000 and 5,800. So let's call this the floor. If this is the floor and this is the ceiling, well, what do you guys see? If that's in fact the case, what do we have here? If that's the floor and that's the ceiling, what do we have right here? Well, we have the apex of this wedge, okay? And what happens at the apex of any kind of a wedge, guys? What do you expect? Anytime you get price getting squeezed tighter and tighter and tighter, what do you expect? Well, you expect a major move. Now, that move might be up, that move might be down. But usually, especially when it's on such a grand scale like this, we can expect a much larger move. And if I just look at the timeline here, that looks like it'll happen at the very latest at the end of October. Sometime possibly in October, hopefully maybe even before that, we'll see, but no later than sometime in October we'll be at that point to where we're either going to break 2018 lows or we're going to break above this descending resistance line here, possibly indicating the start of a larger bull run. So we'll have to wait and see, but there's no question that we're getting that price is getting squeezed here. It's kind of slowly tapering off, losing momentum, and then usually it just explodes. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out, guys, as far as which direction this is going to go. But excuse me, but my opinion, and I know you hate to hear that as an analyst, guys, but unfortunately, this is why you've got analysts literally split. Some people are saying this thing is taking off, going to the moon. Others saying it's going down to 3,000. Some even lower than that. Personally, I think the bottom, if it does break down, I'm expecting it to go no lower than at least than 4,400, possibly 4,600, somewhere into this zone down here. This is a very relevant support zone down here. I wouldn't expect it to go any lower than that, but I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, guys. For now, we could see this thing if we, and really, it's all about fundamentals. There needs to be some kind of catalyst to for new money to enter this market, and that is what we need. We need new money to enter this market if this thing is going to go on any kind of a bull run. That could happen in the form of SEC approval. We know the SEC decision got delayed. They say they say it's been delayed. The truth is, they could make that decision at any point in time. Yes, they've delayed it, but they could make that decision at any point in time, guys. Between now and then, they don't have to wait. So. Again, guys, we'll wait and see. There was hinting of possible positive news, and if people start to think that it's inevitable that the ETF will get approved, they may start entering this market. Maybe not as heavily as they would, since it'd be pure speculation, but I wouldn't be surprised. Everyone wants to feel like they're getting it on a sure thing. If ETFs are getting approved, guys, if they're going to get approved, and eventually they will, but if that's going to happen in the next few months, that is a guarantee that price will explode when that does happen. So we'll see if people try to take advantage of that and get in early. All right, looking at the this is the 4-hour chart. Looking at our moving averages, we can see that price just broke below the 8-day EMA. It's finding support on the 200-day EMA. That's a very bullish sign. If we do break below that, though, if we do end up breaking below the 200-day EMA, certainly if we break below the 21-day EMA, that's going to be a very bearish sign, possibly a sign of momentum shifting in favor of the bears. We look at the daily. We can see price just broke below the 55-day EMA. As long as it remains above the 50-day moving average or above the 21-day EMA here on the daily, I'll remain cautiously optimistic, guys. But ideally, I'd like to see this candle get pushed back above this this 55-day EMA. If we look at short positions are excuse me. We can see short positions are starting to fall off here at a pretty significant rate. Now, they're still relatively stacked. I mean, especially if I look at shorts to longs, they're still relatively stacked, guys. So I'm not saying that this isn't. This doesn't mean that market makers are going to turn this thing right back around and bring price right back down. But remember, this is a zero-sum game. We can see that long positions are slow. They rose a little bit, but not too much. They're remaining fairly stagnant. So longs to shorts still had the favor, but not nearly as much as they did, which means market makers don't have quite the incentive they did before to bring price up, although they are still incentivized somewhat. However, we know that market makers more than likely would like to drive price down to get in at a much lower price, as I told you guys, before institutional money comes in and price just explodes. So which way is it going to go? All we can do is react, guys. At this point, all we can do is react. I'm not seeing any signs in the market right now that we're going to be going up or down. Now, I know some people are saying that this big wick right here signifies the bottom. That's possible. That's certainly possible. But as manipulated as this market is, guys, nothing is for certain. And until we break above 69.50, until that happens, again, remember this big picture. Remember the big picture. Nothing about this big picture is telling me that this thing is going to take off. Nothing is telling me that it's going to drop either. This big picture is a very neutral picture at the moment right now, in my opinion. All we know is it's getting squeezed tighter and tighter, and we should get some kind of resolution here at least in the next 4 weeks, possibly sooner than that. If price does break above 69.50, guys, coming back here, guys, if price does break above 69.50, I think it'll be a very quick rise to about this zone up here at about 7,400, somewhere thereabouts, guys, to possibly test the new the prior high. And if it can break above that, guys, obviously that's going to be a very, very bullish sign. But again, 69.50 is the number to break, and the number we've got to stay above is 65.40. A break in either one of those directions, guys, will signify a major, relatively speaking, above here would be a very good win for, obviously would signify a very big win for the bulls, and a break below 65.40 would be a very big win for the bears, and more than likely, price is going to come down and test 62.80 at a bare minimum. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it there. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. As always, I would appreciate an upvote, resteam, or a like, depending on where you're viewing this content. Until next time, guys, please trade safe. Take care of yourselves. This is Workin, signing out.